Hi everyone, it's Heather, and this is kind of a late recording, so it will be a later upload in the day, but oops, it'll still be up. I'm always calling myself out, probably gets old. This week, I decided to look at Monkees at the Circus, and this was an episode that I'd seen a bunch of times. I always liked it, but rewatching it, I had some hot takes on it. Overall, I gave it a 7 out of 10. I'm not offended by it. I have a lot of mixed feelings. A little confused about some of the plot points, but we'll get there. So let's just jump right into my comments, because there were many. And, I'm not saying it's a bad episode by saying that I had a lot of comments about it. I just had a lot of comments. Obvious Circus Boy references are obvious throughout the whole episode. They sneak in as though they'll still see the show when the performers aren't performing. It clearly says closed, and they walk in like, oh, hey, this is going to be great. They're not doing a show right now. Like, what do you expect to see? They literally were trespassing. We're supposed to act like Victor is totally out of line by saying, you're trespassing, get out. Davy's speech, kind of like near the beginning, to kind of like rally the troops of the circus, it was kind of cute, but hope doesn't draw kids to the circus. Marketing does. I think they kind of touch on that later in a roundabout kind of way, but So here we're getting to the part where, totally hot take, not sure if anyone has even had a second thought about this before, but I don't hate Victor. I really sympathize with him. And I know he's supposed to be like the antagonist of it all. He's not like the villain, because he's not like purely evil. I kind of liked Victor as a character. Like, there's just something weird about him. His motives were so reasonable. He's like, this has been going on for a long time. We're clearly struggling and nothing's working. Like, I have to eat. I have to get paid. Like, why would I waste my time when I can go looking for stable work elsewhere? He's just kind of fed up at this point. And the others are like, oh, don't go, oh, you're being a brat. He's kind of weird and threatening about the whole thing, which I think they just played it up to make him look like the bad guy, but the dude just wants to earn money for his job, you know? I don't know, I didn't hate him. I get that the family and everything doesn't want to lose their business. I get that it means a lot to everyone, but at the same time, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, and that's kind of what they were doing for a while, until the Monkees showed up and mixed things around. I also noted it was more sappy of an episode than usual. I know that's a very rough transition from rant about Victor to, yeah, it's kind of sappy, but it's true, it's really sappy. It wasn't laugh a minute like some of the early ones. I said the boys finally learn that sometimes lying won't solve their problems. It'll just create a bigger problem for themselves. Because literally they're like, oh, we're this super cool French trapeze act. And then they deliver promises that they can't live up to. And then they're like, oh shit, we done fucked up. Because everyone's so excited about this. They're like, oh, they're gonna spice up the circus, we'll get people coming in. And they're like, oh crap, we can't do this. It's like, what did you expect? What did you expect was gonna happen? I keep going off on a tangent and then just completely losing where I was in my notes. Okay, here's one thing I always noted, maybe from first or second viewings of this episode years ago. There's something very jarring about seeing that old lady, the juggler, wearing that outfit that she's wearing. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like a bodysuit or something. Kind of like a fancy bathing suit cut. And it's very skimpy, and I'm just there's just something that doesn't compute. Old ladies shouldn't dress like that. But she's in way better shape than I am, so good on her. It's just weird. One thing I noted, I hadn't finished the episode yet, but I have seen this a million times. Not a million, but many times. I said if they didn't hate rock so much, the boys could offer to spice up the show with a performance. Instead of just saying, oh, we're this awesome trapeze act that can't do what we totally said we could do, they could just been like, you know what? If people are going to rock concerts so much, you're in luck. We're rock people. We can be in your act, and then people will come to see the music, but also see the circus, and then we'll both be making money. Well, frankly, the Monkees wouldn't actually steal their spotlight that much because in the show they weren't like that famous or popular or anything. So technically it would be a win-win because they'd both be getting attention that they didn't have before. Oh my god, another tangent. Hello. I'm gonna stop now. I thought it was weird how the ringleader, the older man, why does he introduce Victor when literally like the scene before, Victor had just like up and walked out. Everyone else was still there. So the show was gonna go on, but Victor was like, I can't do this anymore, you guys are full of shit. And he walked out. So I'm like, what does the ringleader expect? And then that brings me to another thing that I appreciated about Vic. I'm not saying that I liked him, but I appreciated the fact that he was like, oh shit, this guy that's randomly in my place does not know what he's doing. He's probably going to kill that girl. He doesn't really say that, but I am glad that he steps in. Actually, what he says is, who's that guy out there pretending to be me? It's kind of like a little bit egotistical, but at the same time, Davey has literally no idea what he's doing. And Vic is like, I can't let this idiot fail at my job. So it was good of him to step in, no matter what his motive was. And then everyone was like so grateful that the Monkees helped out, they saved the circus. And it's like, they didn't really do much. They just lied, and then got caught in their lie. But then by that time, the whole public was like, oh, this cool trapeze act is gonna be at the circus. So they drew in the crowds based on the lie, and then they didn't mention the trapeze act at all in the circus, and people still loved it. And then there's just this random band performing, the Monkees. From the perspective of the crowd, it's like confusing. It feels like they just didn't contribute that much. They just hyped it up and then delivered something completely different to what the public was expecting. I'm not saying that's a bad thing because people kind of loved it. I'm sure at least one person in the crowd was like, wasn't there supposed to be some like Mozzarella Brothers shit going on here? Like, I was promised a human pyramid with like glasses, and then one little tiny bit of filler. It was maybe like 10-15 seconds at the most. At the very end of the guys just like driving away in the monkey mobile, like waving goodbye, as if we hadn't seen that clip 10 million times already. It was just a tiny bit of filler. It felt useless because like the episode was just about long enough. Like it didn't need that. It could have just like slapped another commercial in there, and like it wouldn't have been affected any much. Wow, I can't talk today. I talk too much and then I can't talk. It just felt useless. I wasn't offended. I was just like, you made it. You made the time that you were aiming for. Just leave it. I did add one note at the end about Victor. I said Victor was a great antagonist. He wasn't a cartoonish villain like the crazy ones that we're used to seeing. His motives are like really realistic. Like I said, he just wants a stable job. You know, like you can't really blame him for saying, I want to eat. You know. Now we're moving on to the fun bits. Tangents are over for the day. When Peter says snick instead of sneak, it's one of those things that's just so dumb that it's funny. I don't know whether that was just something that Peter said and they called him out on it. Something about the way that they do it makes me think that it was scripted, which is even funnier because it's like what would possess you as a writer to write that in as a joke? Like, it's not the funniest thing in the world, but it's just so random that it feels like it could be an honest mistake. But the way that they did it, I don't think it was. And Davy's faces when the knives are thrown at him are pretty iconic. You do and I'll be sorry. No shit, Sherlock, but go on. There's a part where they're like, where the girl is like, "Oh, what do you guys do?" And they're like, brain surgeons," because obviously. And then Mike is like dressed like a farmer, and so Mickey like he holds up a stethoscope and at Mike and he's like, "I'll say a few words to the folks," and Mike immediately goes into Michael Nesbitt's farm report, and he just does his farm report bit, which you'll see in Monkees on Tour. I love the farm report bit; it's so funny. That made me very happy. Or when they're goofing around as circus performers, it was really funny. Like the lion tamer bit, stupid trapeze acts, and them just being idiots. The way that Mike talks when they're trying to be the Mozzarella brothers, the others are like trying to do a French accent, and he's just like full Tex Nesmith on them. There's a line where Mickey tries to make a stupid joke, and the girl is just like, "The fuck?" It's like, it's just a joke, a little joke about that big. I thought it was so clever. I love that. Then they go into Sometime in the Morning to cheer up the girl, and I kind of feel like that's their universal cheer everyone up song, because I was having flashbacks to Monkey Mother, an episode that I also love. Oh yeah, that Sometime in the Morning romp was really cute. And then one thing that I thought was funny, apparently acting like idiots makes them show folks, because there was that bit where they were like dressed up like clowns, acting like clowns as they do, like throwing water at each other and like pies and whatever. I was kind of like half paying attention because it was just like, oh yeah, typical Monkees shit. But after that bit, everyone was just like, "Oh, you really are circus folk." And it was just like, they're just being themselves, but okay. That's the part that I didn't really like that much. One more tangent. It's like they just watched them goofing off and decided they were okay after all. And it's like, never mind the fact that they're part of the genre of entertainment that's kind of like stealing your thunder and the reason why you can't feed your animals, you know? Like, oh, they're goofy just like you are. They can dress up like clowns too. So like, oh, let's accept them. Oh, let's go on with the show anyway, and just forget about the whole fact that they lied to us the whole time and just snuck in for no reason. Like, that makes sense. Okay. Like, I wasn't offended by this episode. In contrast to what you just heard, all of those tangents, I just had a lot of questions like that. So that's about all that I had for today. I already feel embarrassed and ashamed that I went off like that, but fuck. Tell me I'm wrong. I have no idea what I'm going to do next week. Just about the same as usual. Next week is going to be special because Saturday is going to be my birthday. So we'll see how much effort I put in next week. But if you don't hear from me, just assume I was having a great weekend. So I will see you guys then, and bye.